evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mahoning Drive-In Theater, the largest single-screen drive-in in the United States. We're certainly glad you could be with us this evening, and don't forget the concession stand is open with all kinds of great things to eat and drink.
89.3 Mahoning Drive-In Radio, your old pal Virgil back once again for another exciting episode of the podcast. As you guys know, the only podcast dedicated to the love and revival of our beloved drive-in culture. Joined as always by my co-host and general manager extraordinaire, Mark. Say hello, my friend.
I'm extraordinaire.
It is true. Guys, we have been so lucky to have had so many legendary guests over our retro run here. And the Hollywood embrace has become a true staple and draw to what makes the Mahoning so magical to so many people. And we are over the moon that the stars have aligned to welcome Scream Queen and ultimate badass Caroline Williams to the Mahoning family for our Shock Stock Market on Sunday, May 17th. Welcome, Caroline!
Thank you, Virgil and Mark!
We are so excited to have you coming to the Mahoning. This has been a long time coming. You know, we have tried in the past to try to make an event work where we can bring you out, but this was just perfect timing this year. So I'm glad
Works
it all
for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very excited.
So what you been up to? How you feeling? I know that you've been limping around. You hurt your foot, right?
Oh, dude. I was just at Parsippany, New Jersey.
Yeah. Yes, Chiller. Good friend.
Yes, at Chiller for their event. And my whole idea for wardrobe and so forth, because I plan all this stuff out. I plan my looks like I'm going to the Met Gala. Except it'll be the Mahoning Gala.
I love it.
Yeah. But so I was going to wear my cowboy boots. And sure enough, I mean, you know, April 1st, it was freaking April Fool's Day, man. I got up off the sofa. And you know how you have those really comfortable shoes that you've had for like 15 years? And they're all stretched out and they've got maybe a rip or two. And, you know.
Yep. They're not going anywhere. You love
them. They're
not.
And you would never wear them outside. You just wear them in your house.
All right.
I get up and I stepped on the back of one of those shoes, one of those clown shoes, because they're like clown shoes now.
Yeah.
And I just, there I went. I took a dive. I just took a dive. And I broke my foot.
It's fully broken? Wow.
Well, it was mostly a stress fracture. You know, when you try to break a green branch, and it just kind of bends and a little bit of it pops out, but not all the way. If you really want to break it, you're going to have to like get a knife or something. So it was like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it hurt.
Well, as you know, we are the Drive-In Podcast, and we're going to try to keep it super drive-in focused because I'm really curious. I love hearing about people's past experiences and why the drive-in might mean something to them. Were you lucky enough to have a drive-in in your childhood, or is it something you might have come to later in life?
I sure was at Clay Road and Forest Drive, and this was in Houston, Texas. Literally, we could walk to the drive-in.
Oh, wow.
And you could pay to get into the drive-in even if you were walking, because you could just like stand around. You could be at the snack bar, whatever, but they would let you in even if you weren't in a car. And it was the Thunderbird Drive-In on Clay Road. You could Google it now, and there's probably photos of it. Probably.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And beautiful. And a beautiful work of art. I mean, you know, they put the time into it, and it served that entire neighborhood. And they had special nights, you know, football night, if there was a football game on a Friday night, but instead you decided you wanted to go to the drive-in, they knocked off a bunch of the price. They had Wednesday night specials. Sunday night was a big night. And even as I got older and got into high school, it was still a cool thing because you could hang out at the drive-in. And what we do, you know, we'd get a bunch of like Boone's Farm Strawberry Hill apple wine.
Yep.
And some wild turkey and some Shiner and some Lone Star. And, you know, they would sometimes check, if you were teenagers, they would check your trunk to make sure you didn't have people in there too.
Sure. It's all
So
part of the culture, you know.
it's part of the whole deal because everybody had to pay to get in. But on more than one occasion, people came up with really ingenious ways of, sneaking people in.
It's like
And
clinging on to the bottom of the pickup truck as they roll it.
it did have homicidal overtones. Like
Oh yeah.
we would have somebody in a sleeping bag, all rumpled up, or we'd pack somebody into the cooler.
Yep. Can you
Or,
breathe in there? Well, at least we're saving $5.
but plus, you also got to remember some of us, our parents still had some of their older cars. Back
Yeah.
in the day, we had the Caprice,
Yep.
the Cutlass, the
Yep.
Cutlass Supreme. I mean, these cars were big as barns and
Like driving a boat.
like driving a freaking boat. Cadillac. If somebody's family had a Cadillac, you were completely set because
The whole squad could fit in
you
that.
could you could just fit the whole school in there. You could lift the cushions in the back seat because it was a bench. You could
Yes.
lift it and you could pack people in there.
It was like designed for it.
It was just impeccably done. It was impeccably done. It was so much fun. And I hold nothing but great memories meeting guys and going out in the middle. And there was a giant cow pasture all around it, a
Yeah.
huge cow pasture all around it. So if you wanted to go make out with somebody, you could just grab a blanket and go.
Yep.
I mean, there was barbed wire, but
That's what I love about the drive-in. The appeal of it changes as you grow. You know, it's
yes,
it's like this magical freedom when you're a kid. Then it becomes this kind of hangout thing with friends. It becomes the passion pit where you take your dates. And then it
right?
becomes a nostalgia thing. It really is something that we talk about it all the time. Every single town at a certain point had this essential community space, which is what we look at it as. And over time, so many were lost. And now the few remaining of us are really trying to do and uphold what those drive-ins represented and what it represents to the kind of lost American culture and that aspect of the American culture. But it's so great to see the community come together and you see grandparents with their kids. It's this very generational, I want to share it thing. And people get all sorts of different things out of it. So,
And the first movie that I ever saw with my family, with my mom and dad, my little sister, my big sister, we like did family night, which, okay. We went to see True Grit,
Oh, wow.
yes,
the
come
one with
on.
John Wayne.
We actually have a
Amazing.
35 millimeter print of True Grit.
Oh,
We
you
own
get
that.
the
Yeah.
fuck out.
We
Seriously.
absolutely do.
I'm really sad because I just looked up the Thunderbird Drive-In and it was demolished in
Yeah.
1980. Now
It's
I'm
probably
crying.
a Walmart now or a Target.
It's a business park.
Yep. Sounds
It's a
about right.
business park.
Now, do you remember if there was any like really memorable signage like on the back of the screen or the marquee near the road for the Thunderbird?
What I'm trying to, there's photos. Let's go under photos. Here it is. Here it is. There
That's
it
it.
is. It looks like Indian Thunderbird, the Indian kind of
Right.
Thunderbird symbol. And the photo I'm looking at, uh, oh well, it turned into a porn barn. Here it is. The oldest profession, hungry wives and heterosexuals.
That's the direction so many went in as the popularity waned, is to whatever they could get people to show up for. And it was often, saucy fare like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a north end and a south end, right? And the north end on this particular night was Black Caesar and the Thing with Two Heads.
Oh,
Perfect.
come on. Yeah.
Perfect.
But
That's
the
right up
Thunderbird,
our alley.
the Thunderbird and the word Thunderbird was neon.
Beautiful.
It was neon. So it was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing,
Yeah.
Now I feel really
Drive-ins had a
sad.
way of like pulling people from the road with their beautiful screen towers or the marquee or the neon. it really was this huge deal in town when they were thriving. It was such a draw and such a part of the culture there, in
Yeah.
town. So
It was
oh,
art.
it's true. I mean,
Yeah.
and we see it. We see people fall in love with cinema and movies under the stars. There's a freedom to it, but there's also this mass appreciation that seems to be slipping from the indoor experience more and more, where people come, they're all there for the same reason, to celebrate this specific work that they love. The fact that we play retro movies and play them on 35 millimeter
Oh,
really has taken it to the next level for us. But
that really is it. One of the things that I loved about the movie Hard Eyes, and I did love the movie Hard Eyes, I thought it was great. The finale takes place at a drive-in. And I thought this is the best use of the drive-in since Christine something, you know?
yeah, Drive-In Massacre. It is one of those things where people can come to the drive-in and it's almost like traveling back in time. They come through that
Hmm.
lot. And the sell with our drive-in is it's untouched. We're running the same machines that we ran 77 years ago. And
Jeez.
yeah, and the concession stand's pretty much untouched. And it really does feel like you're at a 50s, 60s drive-in experience. And that's a beautiful thing to be able to kind of escape the modern world and be like, I'm going back to this magical wonderland where nothing matters and worries are free.
And you're outside. You're
Yeah, totally.
outdoors.
Out in
And
the
I mean,
elements.
oh,
And we
wonderful.
know we're going to have the best weather on the 17th. It is going to be glorious. The cinema gods are going to be looking out for us
I'm so excited.
just to, prepare you. The fans are so rabid. And this, like I said, embrace from Hollywood has become such a staple for us that people really love that people come out from the movies and filmmakers come out and celebrate their movies at this one of a kind theater. And I know that people are just going to fall in love with you that night for sure.
Well, and plus, I have to say, my movie, Chainsaw 2, I don't even consider it a Hollywood movie. I don't consider it to even have a Hollywood vibe. It is a Texas movie.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
totally.
And if I can only imagine how Toby would feel to be at the drive-in, watching it on a drive-in screen, smoking his cigar,
Yep.
drinking his Dr. Pepper, digging the experience. I mean, that's so fitting to me, you
Yeah.
know?
It is. It's the reason I love cinema. It has such a life, and people discover it or rediscover it or pass it on. It is truly that work of art that lives on, and Toby's work, lives on in a big way at the Mahoning. I think we've gone through.
I'm
Oh,
thrilled.
oh yeah, and this is one that's going to play like a dream on the massive Mahoning screen, and of course on original 35 millimeter, which we're really excited about. And we didn't want to ask you too many questions about Texas too, but we did have Bill Moseley join the Mahoning family a couple years ago, and he
Love
was
it.
so fun and just loved the drive-in vibe. We knew right away, like when we met, that it was going to be this perfect match. But do you have any choice memories that stand out with Bill or from the set?
Well, I made one of the very best friends that I have for life in Bill Moseley and
And
in Bill
Bill,
Johnson
oh, that's amazing.
and Lou Pearman until his death.
Oh,
Uh, Marilyn Burns. I sort of inherited Marilyn Burns for a while, She became a very, very close friend. This all really is a family. It can be a contentious, cantankerous family sometimes.
like all
Um,
family. Yeah.
that's that's mostly the OGs, I would say.
Hmm.
But from the second film, we've remained friends all of our life. Today was Jane Maud Mosley's birthday.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And I was at the hospital when Jane was born, and I
Oh,
was at the hospital when Marion was born. And that's how long I've known Bill, and that's how long our friendship has endured. Roughly the same thing with Bill Johnson after the film, because Bill Mosley and I both moved to LA once the film opened. Bill
Yeah.
Johnson stayed in Austin. So I didn't see or talk to him nearly that much. And I didn't start doing the convention circuit till about 2007.
Yeah.
So with Bill Johnson, there was a big gap in my acquaintanceship with him. But once we did our first show together, you know, we've remained very, very close ever since. And the same thing, I can say the same thing for Lou. Lou and I, we remained in touch actually, mostly telephonically
Yeah.
from the time the film opened until his death. He had to serve a little time in the county jail. I think it was a fairly easy time. I don't know. He would never describe it that way. I can promise you. He served a little time for some kind of tax something
Sure.
with his taxes.
Excellent.
But he was only in there, I think, about 9 months. He wasn't in there that long. But we continued to communicate continuously, you know?
It's so beautiful. It's so good to hear. I love especially these films that have such a lasting life and then become a convention staple, to see
Mhm.
the cast all get along is so great. When it goes the other way, it's almost like it ruins the appeal of it. Because the
Well,
reason we go back to Texas too is we want to hang out with our friends,
and I know the experience me and my brothers had, me and our cast and crew had, was decidedly different because we had a $6 million budget.
Yeah.
We got paid.
Yeah.
We got overtime. We got meal penalties. We got it all. And the original cast sadly did not. And they had to go through that whole release thing with Bryanston Pictures. We all know the story.
Yeah.
They got screwed to the wall, just screwed to the wall.
Yeah.
And I believe that they believe once all the legalities sussed out, that suddenly there were a bazillion dollars to be shared on the first film. Not necessarily true.
Right.
It's been the merchandising and the other incarnations and all the other ancillaries, tributaries of things that have been moneymakers. And, sadly at that point, we've lost virtually everyone. The only people that we have left from the original, we've still got Kim Henkel, who remains a dear friend of mine.
Yep.
I make sure to buy him dinner, breakfast, lunch, or dinner whenever I am in Austin, because he and Toby built the house I live in. And regardless of how their relationship, whatever, and the other players in the cast and crew, and, it became very fractious over time.
Yeah.
Regardless of that, the only thing that still matters to me is the film, is the movie, and what it represents to filmmakers and viewers the world over.
Yeah.
It is a monolith, and it will always be the Gibraltar of horror.
Absolutely. And it is one of those movies that launches ships. You see that movie,
oh yeah,
as a rabid film lover or a youngster, it makes you want to get out there and make movies. It is so punk rock and funny and scary and just so badass. And this is one that, often the drive-in is known for its double features, as you know, but this is one that really can stand on its own with a single feature. And we cannot wait to project it on the big screen. I'm curious, have you ever watched TCM2 or any of your movies at a drive-in, or is this going to be a first?
This is going to be a first. This is going to be a
Yes!
first.
Oh, we're getting you in the booth for sure, watching it project.
When the COVID thing came down, there were two separate drive-ins that are basically, I consider them to be out of town, because it took an hour to get, it takes an hour drive or an hour, more than an hour, to get to each of these drive-in theaters.
Yeah.
And, they're lovely facilities and they're lovely theaters, but the projection was poor. There was no snacks. The sound was poor. I mean, people were trying to gear these things up almost on a moment's notice, because
Yeah.
one minute we're operating like normal people and the next minute, oh my God.
Here
Um,
comes everybody. Yeah.
yeah. And the movies that we went to see were basically just kind of, you know, kind of first run movies
Yeah.
because the movie theaters, and of course, California stayed shut down for 2 years, not just one. So it ended up being kind of a new thing. And I enjoyed it, but I know it's going to be a much better experience with a facility that's been well cared for and maintained
Yeah.
over
Well,
the
that's
course of time.
our big push now is making sure that it can last for another 77 years. That's why we're putting
Oh, yeah.
the work in. We got our projection heads replaced, which jumps us about 50 years into the future. And
Beautiful.
just put some new bulbs and brighter bulbs in last week. So we're now that we've become this film mecca, people travel across the country to see their favorite movie on 35 millimeter because this is the only time they can see it at a drive-in. And
Right.
it's really up to us to uphold that reputation and do everything that we can to give the best presentation. So
And they can have
we
a
can't
Wawa
wait.
sandwich while they sit there.
That's right. You never know. Well, that's a good segue because we are famous for our concession stand, the concession specials, Mama Cheeseburger and the French Fry Kids, running
Oh
that
my
concession
God.
stand
Which is
beautifully.
what we've nicknamed the concession crew and our concession manager. But to me, it sounds like a 70s Hanna-Barbera cartoon about
I would
people
watch that.
who work in a snack bar by day and they have a band and they solve crimes at night. But it's
Mama
actually just what we
Cheeseburger.
call the people in the snack bar.
I think I love that.
Whenever I went to the drive-in as a kid, I'd always say more than half the fun is the great stuff to eat and drink. Do you have a go-to when you go out to the cinema? A must-have in your lap as far as a snacker?
Well, I'm definitely a popcorn girl. I'm not
Yep.
sitting down without a popcorn. I don't
I'm a
care if it's a red carpet or I don't care. I've got to have my popcorn. If I'm living dangerously, if I'm feeling, sometimes they have the specialty popcorns at some of the
yeah.
more upper crust, movie theaters. It's got, crumbled up Oreos in it, or it's got, caramel corn or any of
Right.
that kind of stuff. Sometimes I will bring my junior mints.
That
Yes.
is an excellent combination.
It's a surprisingly good.
It's like you got your chocolate and my peanut butter. I got my peanut butter and your chocolate. That kind of accident. I was at a
Right.
theater once and I happened to pick that as my candy. And something about buttered salty popcorn, alternating that with Junior Mints, it really works.
The mintiness.
Yeah.
And I'm not a mint lover, but the mintiness colliding with classic movie theater popcorn. I'm not proud. I have been known to walk into a movie theater and say, "Can I just get a bag of popcorn?" Right?
Yep.
I mean, I can buy, Colonel Popover's popcorn, but I like it fresh out of that popper.
Sure.
You know,
Sure. Easy.
I like it like that. I do
That's
that. I've been
that's
known
a
to do
staple.
that.
And I do love that, that smell of popcorn at the
Oh,
drive-in. It just takes you right away back to all those memories at the movie theater, the great memories at the movie theater. It's intoxicating. It really is.
it is.
Yep. Well, I don't want to take up all your time. I'm going to pass it on over to Mark. Mark, you got any questions for the amazing Caroline?
I thought long and hard about this. If I could ask only one question regarding Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, and I came up with this. If you could recast or remake Chainsaw 2 with Muppets instead of people, which Muppets would you cast as Stretch, Leatherface, Chop Top, and the rest?
Okay. See, Chainsaw 2, Leatherface is very different.
Oh, yeah.
I would probably put in Snuffleupagus as Leatherface. I
Excellent.
really would.
So good.
And as the cook, I would use Big Bird.
Yep.
I would be Elmo.
Oh my God.
Stretch would be Elmo. That
What
would
a
be a
movie.
must.
What a movie.
Chop Top would be Cookie Monster. Hmm.
How about the Dennis Hopper character?
Dennis Hopper. Wasn't there a neighborhood police officer on the show?
Yeah,
I
the guy
think
with
there
the long
was on
mustache.
Sesame Street.
I think there was.
We are the home of Muppets Take Mahoning, and we work with the Henson Company and the Berettas, who essentially are directing every single new Muppet movie. And the Muppet fandom is huge. They love their Muppets, that's for sure.
Oh my God, I love it.
I just hope some mega fan of Chainsaw listens to what you just said and creates via AI or graphics in just an image of that cast, because I think I think you've got a winner right there.
You're perfect.
But who would I put, gosh, as Dennis?
I was thinking Swedish Chef, just like, I
Sam
just
Eagle?
want to see it.
You know what? You know who it should be? It should be Gonzo.
Oh, yes.
Gonzo with,
Gonzo.
with the two chainsaws in the holsters.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Perfection.
Should be Gonzo.
Ticket sold.
Because out of control.
Mm-hmm.
Basically out of control. Yeah.
Coming in 2028, Muppet Chainsaw Massacre.
I love it. I love it. That is too good.
Coming to Disney Plus. They're expanding their offerings.
They can AI that just so easy, man.
All day. Yeah.
You folks do that and show that to Caroline when she is at the theater.
Oh, we could show it as a short. We could do it as a little short before the movie. Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely. I think this goes on the list.
We are spending gold here.
I think
100%.
so.
So speaking of conventions, you have no reason to remember this, but I met you years ago at the Rock and Shock convention in Worcester, Massachusetts. And I believe your table
that was a great one.
That was a cool show. And I believe Marilyn had a table pretty close to yours. It was sort of like the First Ladies of Chainsaw right there. And you've done conventions so often. So I had a couple of just convention questions. How often would you say you do conventions over the course of a year?
It fluctuates. Number one, it depends on if I have a new movie that's a hit. And to be honest with you, I haven't had that in a pretty long time. The beauty of this year is this is the 40th anniversary of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. We were released, it was either August 22nd or August 29th. I can't remember which. People keep telling me different dates, so I don't know. But this year for the 40th, it's pretty much been wall to wall. I traveled to shoot a movie in Texas the week after that. I traveled to Sacramento middle of June. End of June, I think I go someplace in Canada. It's every 2 weeks now until close to the end of the year because of the 40th. Plus, I'm getting some film fest. I've got some new movies that are going to be coming out, 2 or 3 of which I'm extremely excited about that I think are going to be very, very good. They always give you kind of the combo when you go to these film festivals. Right. If you can find a place to set up and sign, you can have a signing event at these places. And I'll be doing that at Nightmare in the Ozarks in October. I'm going to be appearing in a movie called Death Comes Knocking. And it's a very grindhouse 60s shot on a Bolex 16 millimeter that Eric Yoder, the director, incredibly talented guy. He's sort of an engineering kind of guy. Mm-hmm. He sort of re-engineered aspects of the camera so that he could have a monitor, some sound enhancements.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he basically rebuilt this camera to shoot this movie.
A video assist on a Bolex.
Is that wild?
Wow.
And he managed to pull this shit off. And it's a great movie. Each time he has submitted, people love it. And Ozark is the first one to accept us. We're waiting for him to go through, all the various. But we will be at Nightmare in the Ozarks in October. It's a very, very good movie. And the financiers have been producing those 16 millimeter looking lobby cards.
Oh,
yes.
Wow. The black and whites. Mm-hmm. It's a color film, but there is some black and white influences.
That's the way to do it. Grindhouse, give them the experience. I love
it's
that.
Very Last House on the Left.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much got that vibe. So I think people are going to be surprised by it. I think they're going to like it a lot. And then I'm in a drama. So it's actually kind of a neo-noir called What Did You Do? Shot in Texas. A lifelong multi-generation Texas native writer-director, Stephen Romano. This will be his first feature film. He's got the amazing Jonathan Stoddard. And Johnny is a TV series regular on a show on Great American Family, getting huge numbers. He's flipping the script, obviously. He's going to be doing a total 180, playing a gangster in What Did You Do? But I've got a wonderful, wonderful turn in What Did You Do? That's being submitted everywhere. There is going to be a Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 documentary.
Oh, wow.
The making of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And it's also very much about how Austin became a film capital.
Right.
And Heather Buckley, the amazing Heather Buckley, the short life and ghastly death of Al Adamson. I don't know if you've seen that document.
That's an outstanding documentary.
Dude, I bought the physical media. Mm-hmm. I probably watch it every few months now. Even though I know the story, you get that grindhouse history. You get Turrisatana, you get all these amazing people and the story of Al Adamson. And a lot of the young filmmakers that I've been meeting lately have that Al Adamson, what can we do now? What can we shoot now? Cool. Guerrilla filmmaking.
He had an insane amount of output in every genre you could think of.
I know.
For a long period of time. And I don't think he ever intended to stop. I mean, life stopped for him, but his work, I think we're almost right up to the end, he kept working. And, you say what you will about the quality of the films, but they played theaters and they made money. He wouldn't have been given the job over and over and over again if his films didn't return the profits. So it's quite a story. And that film, that people always say, it plays like one of his movies.
Yes, it does. And that's the beauty of Heather Buckley. She keeps the mood and the temperature of the times absolutely current. You're where you're supposed to be. I'm very lucky. I get to basically kind of narrate and hostess the film. It's got some incredible interviews. And she is, continuing along in production. We're going to be getting together and putting together a lot of stuff. We're going to be meeting in Austin. We're trying to get the Film Society is trying to figure out when they can do a 40th anniversary screening of Chainsaw 2 in Austin. Mm-hmm. And we're trying to figure out venue, signing venue, bringing people in, the whole thing. And so I think Heather's going to be using some of that stuff. So, some really exciting and fun times.
It really sounds like you don't have time to get bored.
Well, no, I was bored. Everything in show business, at least out here in LA, everything dies around the holidays and slowly begins to come back in January and February. Well, of course, now everything's pretty functionally dead here. The major studios, they're going to be canning peas. Everything's going to be AI. They're going to come up with alternative styles of product to use for AI. These verticals, fan films, all kinds of stuff. But the soul of independent filmmaking is still alive everywhere else.
One of the questions I had on my list here, not that this all isn't coming spontaneously off the top of our heads, is what do you do when you're not actively working? Like what is your life? What do you do to find, fulfillment and fun when you're not on a set somewhere?
I love music. I love books, art. I know people who do all of those things, who create all of those things. So I always have people to hang out with or go see their shows or, stuff like that. I have friends here. Billy is here. I see Bill, as often as I want to see him. I've got a really fun group of filmmaker friends, writer friends. I have people to hang out with. I've got two grown sons that I see on a regular basis, virtually every weekend. At least once a week, I see my sons. I go to the movies a lot. I take care of fitness. I go to the gym. There's so much hiking, so much great stuff. I will break a little news here, though. I am actively seeking to sort of, all of my possibilities are regional now. All the really exciting filmmakers are in New Mexico, Texas, Nashville. Oklahoma, all those places. Show business is definitely relocating. People are getting out of here. I mean, when Quixote Film Services with their Star Wagons and their giant studio facility, when they close down and start pulling out of all the LA locations and relocating, you kind of know it's over here. I would very much like to relocate to Austin. I'm going to be spending a considerable amount of time in Austin this summer with that as my goal.
No better place to live.
You know, I came out here and this became my home. And now I'm basically going back home, kind of, you know?
It's a beautiful thing. Everything comes full circle.
Yeah. And plus, you know, there's all new chainsaw product that's now being, Curry Barker is going to be doing his incarnation of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. JT Molnar and Glenn Powell are going to be putting together a television series. I can't imagine it, but hey, there you go.
An undying fandom.
Yeah, I know so many incredible young filmmakers and old filmmakers, for God's sakes. I mean, Terrence Malick is still there. Wes Anderson is there. I mean, all these great filmmakers are still in Texas. Taylor Sheridan has relocated a lot of his, you know, Landman shoots in Midland.
Sure.
There's just so much that's happening there. So many actors have relocated. You know, I figure that's kind of where the rest of my life probably belongs.
Yeah, I mean, it is that hub. You know, I'm a big indie movement 90s kid, and, you know, Robert Rodriguez and Richard Linklater, like that Austin scene is like everything. And it has really become that magnet, like you said, for creatives, even more so than sometimes Hollywood. So yeah, it makes total sense to gravitate to where your peeps are, you know?
Yeah. I would like to try new things in Austin and environs. You know?
So I have two more questions for you. One, do you have any recommendation on a way to repel mosquitoes while at a drive-in?
I have a friend who is an Avon lady. I am not kidding. I have a friend who is an Avon lady, and she sends me a product called Skin So Soft.
Yes.
It doesn't have DEET in it. You know, when we were shooting Hatchet 3 down in the bayou, there wasn't anything you were going to be able to put on your person that was going to repel a freaking mosquito. And they're the size of F-15 bombers. I mean, they just crash into you.
Right. And knock you over.
They just attack the part in your hair. But I'll tell you, Skin So Soft works. Skin So Soft works because when I've got a little garden outside my slider here at my house, and I go out and I do my watering and things. And if the weather the next day is really sunny and warm, within a couple of days, the mosquitoes are everywhere. And yeah, Skin So Soft, Avon.
And is that good for repelling anything other than mosquitoes?
Moose, bears.
Has that been proven, or is some unlucky soul have been sent out slathered in Skin So Soft in a bear preserve to see?
Dude, there is some magic ingredient that repels everything. I'm telling you, you will have an invisible force field around you.
So you're going to smell a very, very familiar fragrance when you're with us on May 17th. Everybody who approaches you, you're going to be like, Skin So Soft?
Yeah, exactly. And it does have a distinctive smell.
It does.
Yeah, it's not chemically, though. It's not a chemically smell. It's actually an okay smell.
I can vouch for that because there was a mini golf course near where I used to live in New Hampshire, and it was on the edge of a woods, thick woods, and they used to have that available for free to rub on your arms and things like that. So you do have independent verification. Anybody who's listening, Skin So Soft keeps you safe from bloodsuckers.
There you go.
And mosquitoes.
See?
The last question I have, we pose to everybody. If you could craft a Mahoning style retro drive-in double feature, regardless of the financial ruin that might result from nobody showing up, what movies would you pick?
Oh, gosh. This is hard. Oh, God. because there's so many. You got to remember, I have a really long film history.
Yeah.
Okay, Bullet with Steve McQueen.
Oh yeah.
Because you got to have a car. You got to have a car
Oh, yeah.
film.
It's a must.
You got to have something like that. And Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Boom.
The one with Brooke Adams and
Donald Sutherland. the
Donald
78.
Sutherland.
That's a great.
Yep.
We've run both of those. We actually do a thing called remake double take where we play an original and a remake together. And
Oh
a
my
couple years
God.
ago, we did the 56 or 55 and 78 Body Snatchers movies. That was great.
That is a great one, though. That is a great one. I mean, it still maintains its suspense and it scares. It still has it. It
Holds
still
up.
has it.
And when you watch that, even from the beginning, before you know anything is wrong, something is off all the time in that movie. Something isn't quite right. And it keeps you off kilter until the horror is revealed. It's so
You're
good.
talking about the Kevin McCarthy version.
Oh, I'm talking about the 78 version, the Brooke Adams.
Oh, yes.
That, I mean, they're
Yeah,
both
yeah.
great, but especially that one, like they're in the dry cleaner's office, and the dry cleaners, and like the wife is trying to say something, or the husband is trying to say something, who's behind the counter, and it's just something is weird about every aspect of life in that movie until the alien menace is revealed. It's so
Right. But the way the alien menaces are revealed,
yeah.
it just so very well done. So very well done.
That's an excellent choice. You get an action movie, you get a car movie, and you get a sci-fi movie. That's the drive-in.
Yeah.
That's
Plus,
well.
it's sexy. It's a sexy car movie
Oh yeah.
because Jacqueline Bissett's in it.
We keep talking about doing another Steve McQueen night, King of
We
Cool.
gotta.
Haven't done
Oh
it.
my gosh, The Getaway, like a perfect excuse to play.
You
The
got
Getaway.
to. Honest to God, Steve McQueen was such a brilliant. He was a brilliant movie star.
Yeah.
I mean, he
They don't
really
make them like
brought
that
it.
anymore. Yep. True.
You know, it's that manner of man. I mean, I hate to use it's very it's an unwoke term, but you know, I am 69 years old, so I can talk the way I want. It just very, very macho man without being a mean man,
Right.
while still being, you know, or to do a Steve McQueen like The Getaway and then do Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I
They
mean, that's our
complement
sweet
one another.
spot. That is our sweet spot. You know, that
They complement
70s.
one another so well. I think part of the reason that's kind of my drive-in go-to in a way is I do remember seeing, you know, car movies like that.
Sure.
Yeah, they always had a car movie at the drive-in. You know?
All crossed over culture there. We just did American Graffiti on Sunday and had
Oh,
the
my
car club out.
heart.
They you know, they love it. The idea of coming out and showing off the cars and looking at the cars. It's
Oh,
perfect setting for it.
Christine.
Yeah, we've done that too. We've had the car out.
Oh my
What a
God.
perfect-
I
Yep.
love that. Oh,
As you leave the theater, folks, please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.
Well, we can't thank you enough again for making the time for the fans on the podcast. I know they're all going to come out and meet you in person on May 17th for the Shock Stock Up Market. Why don't you give the people a place where they can find and support your current work as well as your fandom?
you know, Instagram is my go-to.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
I mean, TikTok and this and that and that. It's too much to keep up with. I don't want to be on the damn thing all day long.
Sure.
My go-to is Instagram. And the address on Instagram is Willie Caroline. WILLICAROLINE. Willie Caroline on Instagram. That's
That is
it.
beautiful. Well, we love you so much. We can't wait to see you when you land in town. And we are going to have the best time at the drive-in on May 17th. It's going to be crazy.
I cannot wait. Thank you
Beautiful.
so much.
You got it. Thank you.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, Jeff, take it away, my friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for coming out tonight to the Mahoning Drive-In Theater. We hope you'll come back and see us again real soon. The exit is on the right-hand side of the screen at the front of the field, and most importantly, have a very safe trip home. Good night and God bless you.